I was just about to move from this place before you came to me to head into the Tom Mboya College. That is where the county tallying center is for the entire Kisumu County. But where I am right now is the Jomo Kenyatta grounds. It was a polling station earlier on in the day. Actually, what you can see right now is that there's a lot of counting ongoing, just final touches. The clerks are already here and the presiding officers are just doing their final math. You can see a couple of people around. Those are not exactly, some of them are agents, others are just Kisumu residents trying to make sure that the votes counted come out exactly the way they wanted to be out, and they're not exactly moving from that point. Speaking of which, they were supposed to be about 400 meters from here, but that has not happened so far. However, there's been a lot of calm and peace around here. In fact, I've rarely even seen any security officer except in the polling stations, but I was driving around earlier on and we went to all the 7 constituencies in Kisumu. That is Seme, Muhoroni, Nyakach, Kisumu East, Kisumu Central, Kisumu West, and there was a very minimal security presence, unless it's just in polling stations, that's where people were. But there are several complaints as well, especially at the Lions High School. At the Lions High School, which is very interesting because now that is the Kisumu Central Tallying Center. There are several people who were there, numbering about 100 or so. Those are the ones I counted, but I was told when I was there that others had already left. They wanted to vote, but their names were not in the register, and they were complaining that IEBC officials are not giving them an update of why their names are missing. And also, the incumbent senator, that's Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, who's vying for governorship, also spoke about that earlier on at the Lions High School, saying that this was a deliberate move, of course accusing IEBC of having a stake in it and making a deliberate move of not having the names of the people who are supposed to be voting in those different places to be voting in that central position, which is the Lions High School. But at the end of the day, most of them just told me that they've decided to just give up because they've been there since 1 a.m. That was last night, and that around 5 p.m. when the polling was about to close, they still had no idea where they've been registered. Others actually claimed that when the keys with their ID numbers were typed in the KIMS kit, it indicated that they had already voted, and yet when they went to their polling station, they were told that their names are not in that register. So it's one of the things we're still following. But from here, I'll be moving to the Tom Mboya College, which is the Kisumu County Tallying Center. That is where we'll get all the figures for all the gubernatorial race, the senatorial race, everything else. As soon as we have them, of course, you'll definitely know. Just remember that this place has more than 1,027 polling stations. Out of all those, 579, according to IBC data, have network challenges. However, there was also direct instruction to the presiding officers and the returning officers to move to a different place where they can then transmit the results to all the polling stations and to the National Tallying Center, and as well to the County Tallying Center, which is at the Tom Mboya Hall. That's where I'm just heading in just a bit from now. Back to you, Smriti.
All right, Trevor, thanks very much indeed for that update. And we're seeing a little bit of comedy behind you.
No, let's try and analyze this live shot for a moment. There's a guy with a drink behind Trevor who has been very happy to show us his drink. Then there's a guy on phone. Somebody has probably called him and told him, oh, you're on NTV right now. And it's like, oh, am I now?
The main place where they should be is actually the County Tallying Center, which is at the Tom Mboya College.
Right.
That's where I'm heading right now. As soon as you come back to me, I'll probably give you an update. But of course, Smriti, before I forget, you mentioned earlier actually that a lot of incidences happened in Kisumu. One unfortunate one was that a 64-year-old man also passed on right after voting. It's not clear what happened, and of course that can only be definitely be told when an autopsy is done, but the allegations that he was unwell. Apart from that, there was the missing names. Apart from that, there was the names that are not registered here and people complaining left, right and center. Apart from that, the polling stations opened late. Some of them, there was also the KIMS kit. Some of them failed for some time, about 2 or so hours, but then they were fixed. There was very long queues. I can definitely tell you authoritatively, but that most of the polling stations here did not close at 5, because I was out at 5 and there were still queues of people. It's just here that now it's just been done and it's just the tallying being done, and we're going to the county level to give you the latest figures. Smriti?
Right.